Good morning. This is the 13th day of April in the year 2013. This is Time to Live Podcast, episode 3 with Quad.
Hello. Also, this isn't going up until tomorrow, so it'll be 14th of April.
Good point. I should probably remember that. And I'm Rev. This is our podcast about gaming and some other stuff as our fancy strikes us. Let's do a recap. It seems to be fairly consistent. Quad, what did you do over the week?
Well, I've been
If you say
fairly...
Dota 2, I'm gonna punch my foot.
I've been playing something else in Dota 2 as well as Dota 2.
Oh, okay.
So, I've been playing a roguelike called Cataclysm DDA. It's a roguelike I've been paying a bit of attention to, and I have been playing a fair bit over the past 3 months, I think. Currently, it's open source. It was abandoned by the creator of it, and he just released the source code out to the public so they can keep working. And the thing is, the reason I started up again with it right now is because they've just updated the game, and now you can actually have 720p rather than whatever resolution it was before, because I really can't remember what it was. So I might start recording some of that. It's so much more easy to record something that has a proper resolution.
Now, isn't Cataclysm a sorry, my mind just blanked. Isn't it an ASCII game?
It is. And there are tile sets for it, but yeah, I prefer playing it on the one with the ASCII graphics because it contains the full game. Because the thing I've noticed with the tile sets is that they actually lack some of the basic functions of the game, and that's fairly annoying. So yeah, it's quite fun. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic something or other, where there are actually a lot of zombies rather than, nuclear war and all that, for example, that Fallout has. So yeah, you can be killed by a bunch of stuff and you have to loot and all that. And recently they added so there are only fixed spawns, or the world generates zombies and they don't just spawn later on in the game like they did before. So that adds a bit of more of a depth to the game, because you can actually clear towns now. So that's quite fun. Yeah.
So is this something that you're going to be Let's Playing as well?
That's a possibility, because I love the game, and there's probably some interest in roguelikes, because that's what I've pretty much seen. My Dwarf Fortress videos, for example, are the ones that have probably the most views. So, yeah, people have an interest in roguelikes, and Cataclysm is a prime example of that.
Oh, well, I wish you luck on that. Look forward to seeing it. Now, speaking of YouTube and what people want to see, don't you have a milestone coming up?
Well, yeah, this is probably going to be the 100th video, so that's going to be fun.
Oh, well, congratulations on 100 videos.
Oh, thank you. I probably would have reached that goal without realizing it before if I had, continued uploading frequently and all that. I'd just pass it and never notice it. I was just looking at the analytics and just noticed it. So anyway, what have you been playing this week?
This week I have been playing command line interface on Windows, Zen, and Linux servers. By which I mean I really haven't had time to play anything.
Yeah, that's what I expected.
It's been kind of sad, but at the same time, it's been really good. We were given I was given a project at work that I pushed through. The former owners of the company are not usually in line with spending money to make money, and we had a whole bunch of mission critical servers that were all running on 7-plus-year-old hardware, which can be done, but it was getting shaky, and we had some building issues crop up that need to be taken care of by next week, and so it served as a great time. I went in with a budget proposal and project plan and all of that, and got authorized to buy my $30,000 worth of hardware. And we're virtualizing my entire remote data center NOC. And we've got most everything up and running. Tonight, actually, in about 12 hours, I'm going to be at the office, and we're going to be physically moving the servers that couldn't be virtualized, as well as some load balancers and other things. And then hopefully I will be able to get my first night of solid and complete sleep in a week.
Yeah, that sounds quite fun. Yeah, I think we've got, where I work, I think we have everything virtualized. I think we have 1 or 2 physical ones, but yeah, that's quite fun.
Yeah, by the end of this project, like tonight's move is going to be basically the anything that can't be virtualized beforehand. So one of my compatriots is taking this morning, and he's trying to move the last couple of servers that can be virtualized, exporting them using a tool called Zen Convert, and then importing them into Zen and building it up that way. But I vowed I was taking this morning off. I've put in more hours of overtime this week than I think I have in the last year combined. And no, this was way more important than that, so.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, actually. So you guys only run Linux servers, or do you actually have Windows servers?
I wish we were a Linux-only shop. Unfortunately, we are not. We have everything. The former philosophy of the company was pretty much anything and everything that you need, we can do. And so we have, old Solaris servers that are still live that are mission critical to our customers because they've been customers of ours since 1999, and we've got Windows servers, and we run a mix of hosting servers and DNS. It's just atrocious. But over the next amount of time, I'm not sure how long it's going to be, but we plan on, or I at least plan on, trying to phase out as much Windows as possible and getting us converted completely over to Linux.
Yeah, like me, I really haven't done much with Linux. So basically, we do have a couple of Linux servers, but we run mostly Windows. Yep.
I did have an apology to our listeners and to you. Last week when we were talking about the Diablo 3 streamer and his potential scam, I said I was going to send you a link and we could put it in the description. I forgot to do that, and apparently YouTube does not like external links to other videos in the comments. So I was not able to post that, but if anybody is interested, you guys could shoot me a PM. I'm either in the IRC or on Reddit, or you could send a message to DS Reverend on YouTube, and I can shoot you that link.
Yep. If anyone's interested, of course. Which probably many aren't, because I'm reading articles of that.
Yeah, it's true. But it does have video evidence of what I claimed, so.
Yeah. That's good enough. That's good enough.
I wanted to broach an idea with you. I wanted to talk about maybe doing a featured Let's Player.
Yes?
Yeah, just a quick discussion.
Yes.
Okay. Have you encountered Inev Pretoria?
No.
No. Okay. Highly look him up. I will link him to you. In fact, I'll do that right now as I'm doing this. And really cool cat. He the way he describes himself is that he says too much about the little things. He's a good guy, and honestly, I have been sucked into all of his LPs. It's primarily his Halo Decathlon. He runs through each game. He's currently about 3/4 of the way through ODST, and then he's moving on to Halo 3. He also has a Batman Arkham Asylum, and He's got a great voice, great personality. He picks apart the entire, like, everything from the mechanics to the feel to the mapping to amazing. I highly recommend him if you're in the mood for a more laid back, not so super energetic. I will warn you, there is times when he does swear, but it's usually when something horrible and fucked up is going on, so I understand it.
Yeah, I may as well just... Well, I do have a favorite... Well, let me just ask you this then. Who's your favorite LPer?
That is a trap, sir.
Well, I know it's not me right now, so go ahead. I know who it is.
I don't have a favorite. I do have people that I subscribe to, and that is what I would say is the biggest way for somebody to know that, in my opinion, they have hit a good blend in commentary and quality. I don't like crap. I don't like, irritation. I like people that are able to teach me something. I look for a very emotional connection between me and the Let's Player. So, I'll check out anybody and everybody, and I don't mean to offend anybody listening to this to whom I haven't subscribed, but I'm very, very picky about the content that I consume. And Quad, you actually happen to be one of the people that I am subscribed to, so huzzah.
Yep. Well, I can just tell you straight away who my favorite LPer is, and that's Jeff Major. 1F Jeff.
1F Jeff. I don't think I've actually seen anything by that person.
Well, he does a lot of roguelikes, actually, and
that makes sense now.
He has kind of a sort of a similar taste in games that I do, so he picks the games, and I just look at them, and I just love those games. I may even try out the games after I've watched it. And he also has a very good commentary style. He's very laid back. He doesn't do much editing, though. Pretty much like I do. And he's just really... He's a funny guy. It's fun to watch. Yeah.
I'll have to check him out, see what I think. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Follow up from last weekend, we discussed the Microsoft employee, the community manager or some such position that told a whole bunch of people to just deal with it, and they live in shitty places. And to follow up on that, he got fired.
Yep, he did. And that's not a very smart thing to do.
Yeah, officially he resigned, but there's what's official and what actually happened.
Yeah. So there's, pretty much to recap, it's pretty much on the topic with Xbox 720, and he pretty much went out on Twitter and said, always on DRM is something really good, blah, 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 deal with it. And that's not a very smart thing to do, because we've already seen stuff like that happen before.
SimCity 5.
Yeah, SimCity 5. And people just, when they do that, it usually ends up with them resigning. So, just stupid, okay? They're just stupid. So, do you have anything to...
Well, yeah, I do. First, on that topic, I just want to say I called it. And I've got, let's see, I have another bad thing, another awesome thing, and a really awesome thing. So which one do we want to hear first?
Well, let's just start on, the way that you sent me the things.
All right. EA has just set a world record. This is the bad thing. For those of you that don't know, the Consumerist makes a annual contest amongst the worst companies in America, and they often get paired up and put through brackets, and the community votes on it. And granted, it is slightly biased towards people who would be online and on a show about consumerism and bad public relations and things of that nature. Last year, EA made the top vote out of everything and won the Consumerist Plastic Golden Poo Award for being the worst company in America. And EA actually responded well to this. They made a public announcement and said, hey, we appreciate that you guys see problems with us, and the fact that you guys voted for us over people like BP and Bank of America and
Activision.
Sorry?
Activision.
Yeah, and Activision, they were like, because you obviously felt so strongly about what we were doing that you voted over us over, the housing crisis in America and major banks that are screwing over the world and all of that. That's obviously a sign that we need to improve. That was a year ago. This year, they preemptively announced that they were going to be the winners of it. Not in so many words, but as it came up towards EA being awarded their second annual Golden Poo, they made a release, and basically they blamed everybody but themselves again.
Yep.
That's
what I expected.
Well, you would expect that, but at the same time, like there's blaming other people, and then there's absolute sheer ridiculousness.
Yeah, well, the thing is with that is that they've had this huge shitstorm of SimCity 5, and they just said that the community is shit there. So if they get the golden poop, they are gonna be saying just the same thing over and over. And that's why they're just bad.
Well, it's the Consumerist actually has a pretty good write-up on what happened. But the thing that struck me the most was that Peter Moore, the Chief Operating Officer, the COO of EA, came out in public and released as it was put, a defensive, deflective, non-apology apology that we've ever seen. He does say things like we can do better, and then he blames a unseen cabal of homophobic right-wing blog commentators and people who don't like whichever football player is on the cover of Madden NFL. and like the sheer mind screw, the mental gymnastics that I would have to go through to be at EA and look at the situation and go, oh, you know what? It's people that don't like gays. That's why we won. Like, seriously, what the hell? But oh, sorry, I left off my key there. They did win their second Golden Poo. They beat out Bank of America in the finals. EA, Facebook, Ticketmaster, Sally Mae, Comcast Internet, T-Mobile, DirecTV, Chase, Sears, and Walmart. For the worst company in America.
I know about probably 20% of those companies.
Yeah. Unfortunately, most of them are American-centric. They also beat out Apple and Microsoft, so...
Yeah. I don't like Apple.
I don't either, but it's for different reasons, I'm sure.
Well, I don't like them because of their stupidity. So, anyways, I see you've got something about a release, yes?
An announced release, yes. This is the good thing in my scale. Warner Brother Games Montreal has taken on the mantle, as it were, and is making Batman Arkham Origins. Interesting that I didn't make the connection that I was just talking about Arkham Asylum earlier, but yes. Rocksteady Studios has given Warner Brothers Montreal the entire engine that they built for it, and they are planning on releasing it in October 15th. So now I have 2 games to look forward to this year.
Yay! Well, I'm not really, a big Batman kind of guy, so.
See, and to me, Batman's like, he's the best damn superhero there is.
No, Superman.
No argument. Superman. End of conversation.
Yeah, Superman is better than everyone. So.
See, I will agree that in terms of power scale, he is better than everyone. In terms of being the best superhero, I think Batman takes the cake. And we can have a comic book argument episode if we want, but
I like Iron Man better than Batman.
Oh, I didn't think about that line. I'll have to Batman versus Iron Man.
I just like I haven't really read the comics, as it were. They weren't really a big thing in Norway, so. But yeah, the only reason that I actually like Iron Man is because of the actor that plays him in the movies.
Yeah, he was a good casting choice.
Yeah, probably the best. So yeah, Batman Arkham Origins is coming out in October.
October 25th, 2013. They're planning on releasing it for the Wii U, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, and PC. There's also going to be a tie-in game that's going to be released on the Vita and the DS, I believe. Don't quote me on the last one, but I know the Vita is for sure. And it's Arkham Origins Blackwater.
Good.
So it said that it's going to be a, quote, young and unrefined Batman that encounters many supervillains for the first time. And I'm not shilling for Game Informer, but apparently they're doing an entire monthly episode on it. So,
oh yeah, that got me thinking about the thing. So I heard earlier this week, right? About was it IGN that got an exclusive thing over BioShock Infinite? Did we discuss that?
We didn't.
So they had a exclusivity on the game, which a lot of press around the world got really pissy about. Is that IGN got I don't remember if it's specifically IGN. I think it was IGN, but I can't say for sure. But they got
a quick Google search says IGN has exclusive BioShock Infinite review.
Okay, yeah. So IGN, they had 1 week before the game was released. They had exclusive rights to it. So the deal was that IGN had to hype up the game for a week and then release a review on it that they got a day earlier. And yeah, I don't think that's good practice. I really don't.
Well, I think it can be.
It's not.
In general, in general, I'm against gaming review sites. I do a lot of critiques and reviews myself, and I try very hard not to assign scores to things because I don't find that useful to me. I tend to give people more how I felt about it, what I thought, and hey, if you are in the mood for a time waster, try this, or something like that. But I think in the case of BioShock Infinite, they were pretty confident. They were pretty confident that they had a winner going there, and I honestly don't see the harm. Well, let me take that back. I can see some potential harm, but I don't see the issue with going to a reviewing site and saying, hey, we've got something fantastic. I'm going to give you 1 week and an exclusive on it.
Yeah, well, that's the problem there, because they've got the exclusivity, so they are most likely going to be biased towards having to give them a good review. And other people, like other press people, YouTubers, whatever they're like, reviewers, they haven't gotten the game early. So they can't really push out a review on the first day or the day before or whatever. They can only give out the review like a day after it was released. So they don't get, for example, the views, and you can't really check any other opinion than For example, IGN has given out. They say, "Oh, it's an amazing game," but you've been hyping it for a week. How can we trust you?
Well, you make a good point there, but at the same time, you've played BioShock Infinite. Would you say their review was incorrect or misleading?
I haven't read their reviews, so I have no idea.
Oh. Well, I was just giving it a skim while you were talking with it, and I've not played it. I've watched it, and I have to say it didn't seem to be misleading, unless I'm missing something. And granted, I only had a couple of seconds to skim over it, but it seemed to be relatively accurate to me.
Well, the thing is that it's, well, yeah, okay, they can get the review correct, but I usually, when I look at games, well, I didn't really look for at games through BioShock because I knew the game was going to be good. Looking at the other games, even though I hadn't played them, but had heard really good things about it. But the thing is, I like to have more than one opinion on things. I don't like going on Metacritic because that's a whole nother thing. And
Right.
I just like to know more about a game. If giving exclusivity, like people that don't really have all that much money to, throw around, like, for example, I do, then they have to have more than one source to know if the game is good. So they won't buy it on day one. Well, mostly you shouldn't really buy it on day one, but whatever.
Well, see, and I think in this particular situation, I think they were justified in doing an exclusive. I mean, yes, I do see your point, and in general, I agree. If it had been some game that I absolutely despised, I can't think of one off the top of my head that I purchased that I didn't like, but Borderlands would be a good one. I didn't like Borderlands, but that was for personal reasons. It wasn't a broken game. I just didn't particularly care for it. And sure, people, you can hate me if you'd like. I have my opinions and I stick by them. But unless they were misleading, like if it had been a crap game, like the movie tie-in to Iron Man, if you remember that one, that was atrociously bad. And if they had given it glowing reviews and it was an exclusive and blah, blah, and people rushed out and they bought it and it was a steaming pile of shit, I could see being upset about having the exclusivity aspect to it. But in this case, I think they were the developers were on target for giving an exclusive. Now, whether or not IGN was the best choice for that, I don't know. Personally, I'd rather see Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation, but I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah. I'd rather like a YouTuber to give it out because they have like Yahtzee or Total Biscuit or anything like that. They have
Northern Lion or yeah,
like they give their honest opinions on things, so you can usually trust them on whatever they say. But as soon as you go over to a reviewing, a big review site that makes money just on that, then you have to sort of give it a good review, or else you won't get that exclusivity later. But yeah, that could happen with a shitty game. But as we all know, well, many of us know, BioShock is a good game.
yeah, and like I said, if this had been a shitty game, like if BioShock Infinite had come out and the engine was broken and it didn't work and you lose saves every other day and the story was crap and then blah blah blah, and it was just a pile of shit, I could see being pissed about the exclusivity aspect of it, especially going to a big name company. But it was fantastic. I want to play it. I'm not going to be able to for a long time, but I want to play the game, even though I know the entire story. I still want to play it. And sure, if you're that confident in your game, if you're that confident in your work, why wouldn't you do something like that? Make an agreement with somebody that gives them exclusive rights to it. We see it happen in the media all the time. What's the difference between a political figure or a celebrity giving an exclusive interview to another news agency and this?
Yeah, well, opinions. Anyways,
Of course, but that's part of what I think is going to make this podcast so great, is that we have the ability to discuss it and argue with each other and still be friends.
Yeah, good. Anyways, I'm not going to jump on your last topic yet. I want to bring up the Crytek CEO claims that graphics are 60% of the game thing.
60% of the game.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's dumb.
I agree.
Go ahead.
No, I just said I agree.
I've never been a believer that graphics are what makes the game. One of my you play ASCII roguelikes. I can't make sense of them, so I tend to avoid those. But I also play horrible graphic games. One of my favorite games is actually a space maze type game. I can't for the life of me remember its name right now. I've got a copy of it somewhere in storage. And it was basically just line art. And I think that were colored lines, but don't quote me on that. I am kind of colorblind. And it's one of the funnest games I've ever played. I go back and I play it every so often because, damn it, it's just that good. But to say that graphics are 60% of the game, if that's the case, I want to say you're making a shitty game.
Yeah. And, well, yeah, I don't know. I didn't play too much of Crysis, for example, because, the Crytek CEO, blah, blah, blah. He was the one that said this, but I don't know. Crysis didn't really strike me as a really good game. Sure, it looked amazing. There's no one that can say anything against that, but the game wasn't really all that good. Maybe if they spent more time looking at the gameplay, the story, and all that, you can actually make a good game out of it. Now, you know that I play a lot of games with ASCII graphics, so I don't really care what kind of graphics it is. As long as the mechanics work, I can play pretty much any game without any trouble at all.
See, and I'm pretty much in line with that, but for me, it's more the story. As long as there's a competent story behind it, I can play any game regardless.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I do enjoy having a story in games, but I do also play other games without story, like Dota 2. I did play Black Ops. I played Battlefield 3, and that's, of course, multiplayer, not single player or anything. So, well, I did play them single player, but whatever. But yeah, I do enjoy playing it multiplayer, and I don't need a story, but I usually want to play with other people.
Okay, I'll fair enough. I think that's going to end up being one of our biggest differences. See, you like playing with other people. I hate everyone. I don't like, people are scum and I don't want to play with them. I will very rarely play multiplayer games. And my first slot up is promised to you with Dota 2.
Well, I'm going to drag you into some sort of a multiplayer game whenever you have the opportunity to do so, and I am going to make you enjoy it. Anyways,
and I'm willing to bet there is a hidden story that can be made out of a Dota 2 match. I'm willing to bet.
Of course, you can give all sorts of things because the characters have their different backstories and all that. The game is, well, the base of the characters are quite old. It came out in Dota, which was for Warcraft 3, so yeah, they had their story back then, and they pretty much have the same type of heroes now, even. They've just updated their art, they've given them proper abilities and all that. So, yeah. That's good.
All right. Well, if you're making a game out there, if anybody out there listening to this is making a game, and you believe that graphics and the stylistic choice of said graphics make up 60% of your game, you're doing it wrong. Make a good game instead.
But you'll still sell 1 million copies because it looks so good.
I don't get that mentality. Like, something looks awesome and shiny, cool. That's enough to attract attention, but think back to some of the games that you've been most disappointed with. They're the ones that everybody hyped and said, oh, it looks amazing and blah, and you bought the game and it was horrible. The mechanics were wrong, the controls were broken, the game itself was broken, and you're like, wow, you're right, it looks shiny in pictures, but I don't know, when I think back to horrible games, and I'm not going to list them because they're
Aliens,
horrible.
Colonial Marines.
Oh yeah, it looks fantastic. It's so horribly broken. They focused it looked. Apparently, they agree that it's 60% of the game.
Yeah, and I don't like that mentality at all. I don't think the graphics make the game. I think the story and the mechanics make up the game. Because you wouldn't want to play a game, even it had a good story, you wouldn't want to play it if forwards was backwards and left was right on a controller. Just weird. Unless the game mechanics were specifically for that, but yeah. No, you don't really do that. Forward is supposed to be forwards, backward is supposed to be backwards. And you can't really change something that's integral to the game. But still, graphics. No, you can change your graphics. You can have whatever graphic style you want. If it brings out the story, sure, go with that. If you have to have good quality on your graphics, do that. But don't go first for the graphics. Go for the gameplay, the story. Pay more for that rather than the graphics.
The things that people want. Yes.
Exactly. So yeah. Huh. Anyways, I know you wanted to talk about a game, and it doesn't have all those shiny graphics now, does it?
No, in fact, it is so 8-bit, it's amazing. Some backstory on this. I was, a few years back, I had heard about a amazing game concept. You were going to play a two-dimensional being in a three-dimensional world. Now, I've studied, string theory and some other things of that nature, and I've read several books on flatlanders and interspatial dimensions and blah blah blah, and the concept of a two-dimensional being in a three-dimensional world is just absolutely fascinating to me. And a few years back, I remember hearing about this game that was in the works where you would actually be able to manipulate the three dimensions in order to progress towards your goals. But your perspective of it was always two-dimensional. So, for example, you would have a ladder on the side of the wall, and you could clearly distinguish that it was a ladder. And then there would be an overhang and the rest of and another ladder up there, and you wouldn't be able to reach it if you just climbed the ladder as is. But if you rotated your perspective so that those two pieces lined up, you could just go straight up it. And it was a brilliant concept. And then last weekend, as I was falling asleep, I believe the day that we released this episode, I watched a documentary on Netflix called Indie Game the Movie.
Yep.
And I'm sorry?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a good movie. You should go check it out. You can buy it on Steam.
Oh, it is on Steam as well?
Yep.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, so it's available on Steam. It's also on Netflix. I'm sure they have it on Amazon Prime. But highly recommended. It follows a bunch of indie game developers through their process and how it affected them building this game.
Yeah, and I know. Let me just grab it here. So the developers it follows mainly that I can actually remember is the creator of Braid, the creator of Super Meat Boy, Edmund McMillan, and I don't remember what his partner is, and of course the game we're talking about, so go ahead.
And that game is Fez.
Yep.
If you don't buy Fez, I'm going to hunt you down and kick you in the shin.
I don't own an Xbox.
It's coming out on Steam.
Well, I'm not that big into those kinds of games. I'll probably watch a Let's Play of it if I really want to. But I know it sounds amazing, the game, but I just have a problem with playing 2D games. I don't know. I just don't like the mechanics of them.
It's not a 2D game though. That's the thing. It's a two-dimensional, three-dimensional game. You move forward and backwards and up and down, but you can rotate around. And the gist of the thing is that you play the character, and he wakes up and somebody sends him a message and he goes off, and then he gets a fez, which is where the title comes from. And this fez is the physical representation of his ability to understand three-dimensional movement and the world that he's in. And you like gameplay mechanics, I highly, highly recommend that you get this game. It's not really difficult. I mean, there's some puzzles that have stumped me. I'm still stuck on one where I have to place blocks on a certain thing in 2 dimensions so that when I rotate it into a different 3rd-dimensional space, it ends up making various figures, and it all has to line. I can't get my head around it for some reason. I have the basic.
Actually, I don't like playing puzzle games. Now, the reason I don't like playing puzzle games is because I don't find them challenging.
Try this. I think you'll be challenged. I really do. Watch a Let's Play of it. I mean, it starts off simple. It's basic, rotate so that you can get over to that door and the new path becomes available. But later on, they introduce things that... like you can rotate the actual parts of the building as opposed to your entire perspective of the world, and it adds a level of complexity to it, especially when you're trying to, from the side view, do a top-down puzzle. Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I may give it a roll whenever I whenever it comes out, really. I'll see if I can pick it up and see if I actually enjoy the game. No, I don't really care about how much it costs. I think it's probably going to be $5 to $10.
On the 360 XBLA, it was $10.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be $10 on the Steam as well, unless it's more because of the port, whatever.
It should be available May 1st of 2013. So it's coming up here.
Okay, cool. I may have to check that out. Now, I'm just checking on Steam whether they've added a price for it, and so far I can't really see that they have. But yeah, May 1st, that's when it comes out. And
so
yeah,
I wouldn't expect it to be anything more than like $15.
No, but it's gonna be probably amazingly good. I hope they don't mess up with the controls, so it's really hard to control it. But yeah, we'll see.
Yep. Okay, fair enough. I highly recommend it, and to our listeners out there, I highly recommend you try it or watch. At the very least, watch Indie Game the movie, and then based on what you see of the game in that, go out and get the game.
Yep. I remember back when Indie Game the movie came out. I actually bought it the day it came out. That was quite fun. I enjoyed watching that movie. I was playing The Binding of Isaac a lot of the time then. That was a game released by Team Meats, was it? I don't remember. But I know that the partner that Edmund McMillan had with him wasn't involved in that project, I think. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think he was. But yeah, so that's interesting. So, what are you planning on doing this week? Are you planning on any specific game, or are you just doing... I don't remember what you were going to play this week in your mind.
I don't have any plans at the moment. I am... going to be wrapping up my project tonight and then dealing with the fallout of it at least until Wednesday. So I don't know what available free time I have, but what I do have, unfortunately, is being taken up by some YouTube reviews for some Let's Players. I have a backlog now that is, I think, 18 videos long that I need to review for people. And then I was thinking, if I do have free time, I'm going to keep playing some Fez. and I might try Castlevania on the 360. I have it sitting on my shelf, and I remember putting it in quite a while ago and never finishing it, so I might try to give that a shot.
Cool, cool. And I'm pretty much planning on continuing playing Dota 2 and Cataclysm DDA. I haven't really looked at any other game at the moment. I'm pretty much just waiting for releases. I have some spouts around, I think about May or June, where I usually revisit old games and try and check those out. I currently have Fallout and Fallout 2 sitting on my computer that I've yet to finish.
You've never finished them before?
No, I've watched Let's Play of them, but I haven't finished the games, no.
Oh, I highly recommend, but okay.
Yeah, so I really enjoy those types of games where you have action points. It's very interesting how everything works and so on, but I just haven't really had the time to sit down and play them. Well, I do have time, but I want to play Dota 2 for some reason. Yeah. So that's been the interesting things.
I had a question for you. Last week, after we ended our recording, we were kind of hanging out and talking for a little bit, and then you said you had to go play some D&D. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So, how did that session go? What happened? Was it a good session?
Yeah, it was a good session. We did a fair amount of role-playing that session there. Well, in case anyone actually knows where Forgotten Realms is, or the geography of it, we were currently in Impultur. And yeah, that's where we've been running around, mucking about, releasing undead horrors, demons and all that, and then trying to rectify that. So that's quite fun. I'm currently playing a Hammer of Moradin. So that's quite fun. It's a prestige class from 3.5 that's been converted over to Pathfinder. It's a dwarf that uses a hammer and worships Moradin.
Moradin, the Solarian scientist. No, I'm kidding.
The dwarven god. The god of all the dwarves. So, yeah. That's what it pretty much... There wasn't much, like, combat and action. It was mostly the role-playing. Yeah.
Sounds like a session after my own heart.
Yep. And, yeah, I was actually hoping that... Well, not we, but the group I play with, we would actually try and finish the other 2 campaigns we have running. We have currently, I think the same DM has 3 campaigns running. So
with the same parties?
Yes, pretty much. We sort of have a closed group. There aren't all that many people that actually play D&D, and if they do, they're, junkies and all that crap. It's so annoying. I don't play with those sorts of guys.
That's an interesting dichotomy there. I definitely want to dig into that. I'm making notes right now that we're going to have an episode on the difference in perception on D&D players from between your country and mine, at least. Yep.
Sounds good. Yeah. So, I know that there are quite a few bit of people that play it in Norway and all sorts of places, but yeah, I think their cultures are kind of different from, the US and Norway. So, yeah, that could be interesting to talk about someday.
Well, I'm glad you had fun. Are you playing again today?
I don't know. It really depends on the DM. It's either gonna be board games or maybe, I don't know, maybe D&D for all I know, but I can't really say for sure. I'm actually going out eating with the DM when we're finished here.
Yeah, good times. Now you had one other thing that you had mentioned to me beforehand. Well, a couple of things actually. You want to give those a whirl?
Which ones?
Something about EA?
Didn't we already discuss that?
Not the layoffs.
Oh, those, yeah.
Oh.
So there's been recently I think it was 2 days ago, I saw an article. Oh, sorry about that. 2 days ago, I saw an article on PC Gamer about EA undergoing layoffs. Yeah, EA, you silly people. So pretty much what they've been doing. Well, I didn't really have the. They're laying off people from EA LA and EA Montreal. Yeah, no, that was in February. Where the hell are they?
The article
those?
I'm looking at on Gama Sutra is they're laying off EA Montreal.
Oh, okay. So why are they doing that? They're not closing the studio, but
nope, they're keeping the studio open. They're just letting people go. Let me see. What did he say? The announcements, the layoffs were announced last month. The estimate of 200 to 250 people was too high.
Yeah, apparently they want to evolve into a more efficient organization. Yeah, well, laying off people isn't really the choice. Did they lose money in SimCity 4? I can't really see that they did that. They must have made a bunch of money in that.
Actually, the financial side, and forgive me, I'm not an economist and I am horrible at maths, but EA's not been doing very well financially. That's part of the reason why their CEO resigned last month.
Well, there's also a thing about him going out on, different forums and telling people himself what he thought about them hacking on SimCity and EA in general.
Yeah, that definitely didn't help. But if you look at their financials, EA has not been as profitable. Their shares have dropped significantly, and unfortunately, and I think this is the problem that I have with gaming, the gaming culture, game making culture in general. It used to be for fun. Guys had an idea and they wanted to share it with other people, so they put time and effort and work into it, and it was amazing. And then it got corporatized, and we have people like EA and other things. And yes, on occasion they put out a fantastic game. Somebody struggles through and blood, sweat, and tears to put out a fantastic game, but it's mired in this culture of we gotta make more money. And I think that's a damnable shame.
Yeah. You can swear because I have a tendency of doing that.
I was swearing, but I was actually spluttering with rage. I just couldn't get the words out. I really do think it's a damnable shame that the entire concept of gaming, right, I get it. It costs money to make games. But damn it all to hell, man. You gotta do something that you love, and you gotta make it fantastic. And if your only goal is to make more money, then open up a sandwich shop, damn it.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna study game programming, and hopefully I won't do it just for the money. I still need to make money, but I am gonna try and make quality games whenever I do that.
Well, I will definitely play your games, I'll tell you that much.
That's a good thing. Whenever I, finish with education and all that, because I can't be bothered sitting down and reading and learning programming languages on my own. It sounds like a tedious process.
It can be, but it can also be a very rewarding process.
Yeah, I know. I really should be learning it. I know how to read the programming languages. I just can't write it. Reading and understanding what they do, but I just can't. When I sit there just reading and checking what something does, I just can't, reprogram it and try and fix it. But I know what the basic functions are.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Have you tried online tutorials, like sites that are designed around teaching you specific languages?
Yes, I just can't do it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that should be the end of the show.
That's about an hour, is it?
Yep, about an hour. And yeah. Well,
This has been Time to Live with Quad and Rev.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's been Quad, and I hope you enjoyed watching. And let me just say, as always, thanks for watching. Goodbye.
See you next week.